So welcome to the first episode of our Maatsports podcast. Here we will be talking about the Finnish football in general. We were talking about the football leagues here, how it's been structured, and all of that. But meanwhile, before we dive into talking about Finnish football on this first episode, I'm going to introduce myself, and my co-host likewise will be doing the same afterwards. So my name is Musa Thompson. I'm originally Nigerian. I've lived in Finland. This is my 12th, maybe 13th year in Finland, almost 13th year in Finland. And basically, I studied here. I studied for my bachelor's, I studied for my master's, and I likewise play football a little bit. And now football is my thing. Maatsports is a football agent, which I founded. And this is basically something little about me. And as the episode goes by, I guess you will learn to know more about me. But primarily, my name is Musa, and you will be seeing me every week. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Sebastian Bowles. I'm head coach of FC Haka under-20s in Finland. And I've been head coach of the team for now over 2 years. So we've got a good thing going with the lads there, just getting prepared for a new season now. And I'm delighted to be, co-hosting this podcast along with Musa. Thank you for the invitation. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to having some really good discussions about, Finnish football and the top 3 leagues in Finnish football too, giving some, my professional thoughts, and opinions on different teams, coaching players, that kind of stuff. Really, any kind of input I can give and assist, I'll do my very best. And looking forward to this. Thank you, Musa.
You're very welcome, Sebastian. You're very welcome. It's a very big pleasure working with you as well on this one. I know you have an in-depth knowledge about the Finnish football, and definitely that knowledge will definitely play a big role on this podcast. So without wasting our time and without wasting our audience's time, let's go straight into the Finnish football league structure. Sebastian, can you please explain to us something a little bit that you know about the Finnish football league structure, how it's been structured, what are the stages of the leagues, how many leagues are actually in Finnish football?
Yeah, for sure. Finnish football, the top league in Finnish football is called veikkausliiga, and it consists of 12 teams that play a 2-round. They play each other twice, and after that, they play, the top half plays against each other once, and the bottom half plays against each other once, in so-called elimination playoff kind of style, the US kind of style format. And then the second division in Finland is called ykkönen, and then the third division in Finland is called kakkonen, logically, and ykkönen is, again, it's just one division, made out of teams. But kakkonen is divided into 3 different, divisions that each have the same amount of teams, and then, the promoters get promoted to ykkönen. So it can be a bit of a challenge for, the foreigner player or coach or the agent, to keep up with these things. But like I said, today, we'll be just focusing on the top team, top tier Veikkausliiga. And next episodes, we'll be focusing more looking at ykkönen and kakkonen, the so-called professional leagues in Finland, that will be most interesting to our players and our viewers, listening to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly, because I was going to say that those are the main professional, at least the third tier football, which is the kakkonen, just like you mentioned, is where the professional football stops in Finland. And afterwards, we still have the third division, which is called nelonen. In English, nelonen means fourth, something like that, fourth tier. Yeah. So we still have the nelonen, we still have the vitonen, which the vitonen is for the papas, for those of us who are already retired.
Yeah, and kolmonen, the next stage under kakkonen, and also there's still the 6th division and 7th division, which is purely amateur, pub kind of teams, this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but the main idea for us definitely is focus on the top 3 divisions, that will be the most value to our listeners too.
Yeah, exactly. So let's give our audience or our listeners a little bit of flashback into the last season, because we will be talking about this current season, which will be starting. Actually, the future was released some days ago, I think on Tuesday, if I'm right. And the league will be starting on the 1st of, sometimes in April. I think the first game is on the 10th of April, if I remember correctly. But before we start talking about that, let's look into the previous season. What really happens there? Who got relegated? Who got promoted? What are the things that are buzzing around the city of around Finland, basically, that people are really talking about this year? So in the previous season, we knew that Oiko actually won the league, which it seems like they are the only team in Finland anyway.
Yeah, as they should win every single time with the budget they have, which is out of the league. They're totally different budget to every other team. They're like, Paris Saint-Germain in, France.
Exactly.
They're in
Yeah,
the league
exactly.
their own budget-wise.
Yeah. And in the Finnish Football League, of course, we also understand that from the veikkausliiga, there is definitely a promotion qualifier to the European Championship and qualifier to the Europa League.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch a little bit on that one? Which teams actually play the qualifier in the Champions League and which team plays qualifiers in the Europa League? Do you want to touch on that one a little bit, Sebastian?
Okay, the champions of Finland, in this case, HJK, they get to the Champions League, third qualifying round, and try to make their way up from there, to the group stages of the Champions League, So it's HJK has done it one time, I think, in their whole history of, the club made it to the group stages of Champions League. So, it's very, very difficult still because the games in Europe are so tough. The tempo is so much quicker. The players are so much more skilled, compared to the Finnish guys, with all due respect. But, it's been done, and I'm looking forward to them trying to do it again because it was, quite a ride when they made it there last time.
Exactly.
Then the second and third teams, I think, are, going down to the Europa League qualifiers again, and trying to make their way through to the Europa Leagues. Yeah. And the Finnish Cup winner, of course, I think is qualified for the Europa Leagues also. So there's some good, good chances if you're in the top three, to get playing into the European pitches also. And the winner of the Finnish Cup, is also there. So that will be a good objective for the teams also to compete in the Finnish Cup. That is sometimes undervalued in its current form, I think. The level of Champions League football, there are no bad teams there, even in the qualifying rounds, the teams are good. They're so good.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about the team that actually got relegated from last season and the team that got promoted. This part I'm actually looking forward to talk about it because the team from my city, which is the city of Oulu, got promoted to the veikkausliiga and will be in the veikkausliiga this season. Wow, we can't wait to see that because for years now we've just seen games from Ukunen teams, and now looking forward to see games from veikkausliiga teams. It's quite exciting. The city is doing good. The city is looking forward to it. I think the season ticket is already sold out because everybody just want to be in the stadium to watch it. So let's talk about Ropes and TPS. Two traditional teams, I would say. Rovaniemi Palloseura, very traditional team. I've been in the veikkausliiga, I've been out of it, been in it, out of it a couple of times. Now they're out of veikkausliiga again.
Well, first, of course, the main thing is, of course, the financing of the Finnish clubs. There's very little money in Finnish football, and it's a constant battle for the clubs to find sponsorship, to find funding, to get a decent player budget that will keep them in Veikkausliiga. Coming into the season, last season, Rops had the second lowest player budget of everyone. Haka had the lowest, just lowest. Rops had 380,000 euros player budget for the whole season. Now, sometimes, that is the amount that, Mesut Özil earns in a week in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole player budget for the whole squad, for the whole season. So, that puts into some context, how little money is in Finnish football.
Yeah.
So taking those challenges plus this Corona year, even the finances have been even stricter, even more tougher to find due to the COVID situation. So they had a young team. Rops had a young team. They had some loan players from HJK, as they had a good loan agreement going on there. But still, coming down to the things, it will be a challenge year after year. You're getting in new players from abroad, with small budgets, young players in. They played 22 games last season, and they lost 19 out of them. Won just one game.
Exactly.
So that tells it its own story. They scored just 15 goals in the 22 games played, and they conceded 51 goals.
Oh.
So these are some tough statistics, to make. So it's a little bit of everything. I think inexperience, Some, of course, coaches do what they can, but, sometimes it's an impossible job to do, realistically, due to the expectations. You always have to coach the players you have. And sometimes, you can be the rainmaker, you can do miracles, but, football is a realistic game in the end, long season, during the long season, these kind of differences in skill, you know, and talent, they will start to show.
Exactly. That's absolutely true. I totally agree with the budget part, because definitely they have one of the lowest budgets in the league last season.
Yeah.
And they have a lot, of course, age is nothing really so much important anymore in football, because we can see a boy of 17, 18, 19 years old playing successfully in the top leagues around the world. But when you compare the 18, 19 in the 5 top leagues around the world to an 18, 19 in the Finnish football league, it's a totally a different ball game. And Wolves have a lot of these boys last season, and this could have added to their drop also.
Yeah.
To the Ukkonen, which is the first division coming into 2021 season. Anyway, the biggest surprise for the relegation part was the TPS. I wasn't expecting them to be in that position, because they look to be solid, they look to be good, they look to be organized, but they found themselves in the relegation playoff, and they even still lost to Kotepe, which was an Ukkonen team last season, and got the promotion after winning the playoffs. Do you have any opinion, any thoughts in that regard?
Well, in my opinion, you know, TPS started the season very badly. You know, I think they made a big change in management. I think it was just after 5 games played, you know, they sacked their head coach and drafted in, you know, Joonas Jääskeläinen from Scotland, you know, a known player, you know, throughout Europe.
Yeah.
Player, you know, now, you know, he's doing a good career in coaching in Finland with TPS. And as the season progressed along, you know, they started getting points. And, you know, in the end, I think they were very unlucky, because the Finnish season was cut short due to COVID. You know, they were due to play the bottom team playoffs against the bottom side teams. Everybody played against each other once.
Yeah.
So they would have an extra 5 games time to make up the point gap to safety. And in the end, they got relegated by 1 point.
Yeah,
so, you know, the season was cut short. They were in 21 points. The team above them was on 22 points. And the team above that was in 23 points. And they had a good thing going there. So I was pretty, you know, they must have been quite upset that the season was cut short and they got into the relegation playoffs due to that.
Yeah.
And as everybody knows, relegation playoffs, you know, promotion playoffs, anything can happen. It's not about who plays against who, you know, anything can happen during those 2 games, you know.
Exactly.
The two-legged fixture, you know, and the guys who come down from the bottom division, you know, they're so pumped up with fire, you know, and the will to survive, the will to make their claim, you know, in the top division. And then again, of course, the team doesn't want to get relegated, you know, they're playing under different kind of pressure.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
the favorite, you know, and can they cope? What if there's so much at stake, you know, in staying in the top division than getting relegated? You know, the sponsorship money is totally different, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So
totally true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think they were a bit unlucky, you know, in getting relegated. You know, I think if they would have gotten the extra 5 games, you know, I don't think they would have been in the relegation playoffs at all.
Okay, good to know. But anyway, when the relegation playoff started, I was definitely supporting Kotepe in this regard, because because I had no involvement with TPS, but I have a couple of involvement regarding players with Kotepe. So when when the playoff started, actually I was in the middle of 2 teams around that time, because I'm living in Oulu. I support AC Oulu, which was top of the table. Kotepe was just right behind them. I don't have a player in AC Oulu, but it's a team that I support because I live in the city. And I have a player in Kotepe. So it was like, which one should go up, which one should go down? So when eventually Kotepe won, I felt like, woof, I got everything right for myself this season. That's pretty good. So that's anyway, hopefully TPS get their asses back in Ukkonen this season and get back to where they really belong.
Yeah, they have a good coaching squad there, you know. Joonas Jääskeläinen and John Daly as assistant, you know, in charge of the TPS under-20, under-23 teams also, you know, they have a good coaching staff there, definitely, you know, and I think they'll be definitely coming up this season.
Yeah, well, I believe so. I believe so, because they are not a team that should be in Ukkonen. So I believe they should be coming back up.
Yeah, but their problem has been, of course, you know, that they've been an elevator team, so to speak. They get promoted, they get relegated. They get promoted, they get back relegated. So now they have to start thinking long term, you know. We get promoted, how do we stay promoted up there, you know, in the top leagues? Team building. So important thing, long-term team building.
Yeah.
Time, patience, and of course, it takes money.
Exactly. Wow. All right. We've looked into that, and considering the fact that the team is structured, the season it's about to start for the 2021 season.
Yeah.
What are your takes regarding the whole 12 teams in veikkausliiga this season? Don't talk too much about AC Oulu because there is high expectation within the city.
I'll leave AC Oulu to you. I'll leave AC Oulu to you totally.
There's high expectation regarding them in this city. But what are your takes anyway? Of course, we can talk. We are going to talk about all the whole teams. That was just a joke. But what are your takes regarding? If we can pick it up from Oyiko.
Yeah, well, like I said, in my opinion, Hoyiko, with the budget they have, they should be winning the Veikkausliiga and Finnish Cup every single time. No excuses. Last season, their budget was 1.6 million euros, their player budget. And the second largest budget in Finland was with SJK, and they had 900,000. That was the second largest budget, 900,000. Hoyiko had 1.6 million, so that's almost double. Yeah, you imagine the bottom side teams. Haka had 375,000 euros. Rops had 380,000 euros. The average player budget in Veikkausliiga is somewhere around 700,000 euros per year.
Per year.
Yeah, per
full
year.
Season.
And that's the average about, in Veikkausliiga, what it takes to be, in the mid-class, middle table, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And Hoyiko is in total in their own league with 1.6 million. And it will just continue. They've earned their place, of course. They're constantly in European games. They get good financing from the European games. They have the budget to buy. There are very few teams in Finland that have the budget to actually buy players from foreign clubs, and they make some money selling players to foreign clubs also. So to any player actually, wanting to come to play in Finland, I would just, definitely suggest, Hoyiko is the club to look at first, but, it's tough to get in there. Very tough.
Okay, well, that's quite.
So Hoyiko, in my opinion, definitely a big favorite again this season. They've had no changes in their management except for the assistant coach. Väyrynen went to coach their second team in Ykkönen. Now that got promoted to Ykkönen, and Rantanen came from that team to be assistant in again Veikkausliiga team Hoyiko. Other than that, they've lost some players, but again they have an overload of players, and their tactic is to loan their younger players away to other clubs, and it'll be interesting to see how many of those young players will be playing where this season.
Yeah, exactly. And what's your take about Oyiko's head coach? He is the youngest in the Veikkausliiga this season.
Yeah, in fact, he came from Rops, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's earned his stripes at Rops. Did well there. Hoyiko played, I think, the Finnish record transfer fee for a coach to get him coach Hoyiko from Rops, and he's done a good job there, in my opinion. He's done a good job, but of course, it takes also patience. Like I said, patience and time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so far, he's had it in Hoyiko, but. Like I said, they should be winning the league every year. They should be winning the cup every year in Finland, so it's a different kind of pressure you work with.
Yeah.
But, so far he's doing good. And it's this season, if he can, did what he did last season, win the cup, win the league, definitely he more probably has a good chance to go somewhere abroad also to coach. The doors will be opening for him.
Yeah, well, it's something very, very impressive and very interesting to see a young coach as young as he is, Toni Koskela, at 37, having this kind of profile already. I can't imagine what would be his state by the time he gets to 45 years old, having already many, many more years of experience. But yeah, that's really interesting to look forward to, and hopefully they make something good out of their season 2021. But meanwhile, they still have this budget 2 years ago when Coops takes everything or just away from them.
Yeah.
So things can happen again. Maybe this season, maybe it's AC Oulu that is coming to shock the whole Finnish football league.
Being romantic. Yeah, the way I see it, then the biggest challenges for Hoyiko this season most probably will be, I think, FC Inter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They did a good season last season. They were second, only 7 points away from Hoyiko when the season ended short. And, they kept their head coach, Mr. Rivera.
Yeah.
And if they can
Spanish
add
guy.
a couple of good additions to their squad, get them playing like they played last season, they'll be definitely up or about, the top places this year also. I'm pretty confident of that.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, Kuopion Palloseura also, they have a new coach. It will be an interesting thing to see how Mr. Valakari did his, like previous years coached in Norway. And now he's back in Finland. They replaced a Norwegian coach with a Finnish coach back from coaching in Norway. So there's some sort of a thing there also. It's interesting to see how Simo gets, Kups playing again, and the team there that is. They've been building a new team again this year, a lot of out with more foreign players and in with some more Finnish players. So maybe they're trying to get some more domestic players inside the club, create a new kind of culture there. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it'll be interesting to see, but if Kups gets things right, definitely they'll be challenging also with Inter for Hoiko for the title.
I think these domestic players, these local players coming in numbers into the Veikkausliiga this season, could it be the cause of the coronavirus? Could it be one of the impact of the coronavirus because clubs are limited in their finances, so they can't really bring in players from abroad this season?
Yeah, I think so. That's a big thing, and it's a worldwide thing. I think
it's a worldwide thing. Exactly.
Everything, they've just gone down. There's so many unemployed players right now, looking for clubs, and all these travel restrictions and quarantine restrictions, it's getting really crazy to the point of where, teams are looking inside, domestically and locally for players, within the nation that they are currently in. That's just the way things are. And let's just hope, this season we can get the season running normally and run through it normally, and hope the vaccinations and this kind of stuff worldwide get on and we can get back to normal as soon as possible.
Well, I keep my finger crossed on that one. I can't wait. I can't really wait. Yeah, and we've actually looked into, you've talked about Kups, you've talked about Inter briefly. How about Senayoki, SJK?
Yeah, I see. They've done, it's a funny team. They have also got money. Like I said, last season they had the second highest budget of the Finnish teams, with 900,000 euros a player budget. And year after year, they're just not doing it. They're just not cutting out, And I think the blame is, if you can blame anything, is the short-sightedness of their projects. This is just my opinion now,
Okay.
To actually go and that kind of stuff. But they've been going through one manager per season for quite long. And every time you get a new manager coming in, he brings in, his new kind of own style and his own backroom staff and his own players. And it's very difficult to try, if you change up these things year after year after year, it's very difficult to get any sort of continuity into this thing, any sort of playing style, integrated into the team and so forth. And that's definitely one of I think the main reasons, they have been lacking in the patience kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's a difficult thing to do, of course. They have a huge investment, huge budget, they invest in players and that kind of stuff. Of course,
exactly.
Football is, it's about results.
Yeah.
If you're in a big budget, you're demanded results in the modern game, if things aren't happening, you'll be sacked. That's just, the juice that managers have to handle these days,
Yeah.
You get the results or you're out.
Exactly true. Because, I've been really wondering what's the situation with the team, even their second team, which we usually perform at the very high level at the lower leagues. Even the previous season, they were in they were the whipping side.
Yeah.
They were the whipping side. So structural-wise, I don't know what's really going on with the SJK team, but hopefully they can put their asses together for this 2021 season and show the league what they actually have to offer as well.
Yeah, and now this season they're in a new kind of situation, because last season they got a new coach, the coach from Kuopion Palloseura, who just won the Finnish championship for them, Kuopion Palloseura, Honkavaara. And he was last season signed as the head coach for Seinäjoki, and he didn't start out so well. The club, they were a long time, they were, at the bottom half of the league, and they ended in 7th position last season with only 29 points. That was only like 8 points from relegation playoffs. Their budget was second highest. But this time instead of sacking the coach, Seinäjoki, you know, stood by their coach, and he's starting now the second season as head coach of Seinäjoki. So he's been given some time. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, after 1 year now, you know, he's been given time to integrate his own playing style, his own, you know, philosophy, this kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see, you know, will we see a new Seinäjoki this season, you know? Will we see a Seinäjoki that will be fighting in the top positions?
Well,
it'll be interesting to see how these things plays out. And I think if they start as badly as they started last season, you know, I think they'll be getting the sack pretty soon.
Yeah, true. Anyway, that's the order of football these days. Bad run of games, the coach is actually under threat. So the coach's job is under threat. And also, let's look into Ilves.
Ilves, yeah.
Yeah, Ilves. What's your take on Ilves? For me, before you say anything, Sebastian, I like the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the love that I have for the city of Tampere that makes me like the team also, or for some reason which I don't really know. I like the team. And the fact that they've been actually consistent in the Veikkausliiga for years now also I give them credit on that one. They've been consistent, they've been good, considering what has happened in Tampere in the years past regarding the Veikkausliiga team over there. So what's your take regarding the Ilves team? And don't try to compare between Ilves and Hakka.
I'll never do that. No, I'll never speak bad against my own club.
Okay, good.
Talking about Ilves, you know, the strengths that Ilves has is, of course, the, you know, junior academy work and the academy work they have there, and their second team. They have a good academy project. They have a good youth organization project there, you know, a good youth teams, you know, with good youth coaches, a professional kind of environment to educate young players. So they will have a young squad this season. Because they've been, you know, losing now a lot of experienced players from last season. They lost Lauri Alamyllymäki, who went to Venice, Italy playing. They lost Mika Hilander, their first team goalkeeper. They lost Jai to HJK. They've lost Eero Tamminen to IFK Mariehamn, Emil Tendeng to IFK Mariehamn, Diego Thomas, their king linchpin from central defense, went to KuPS. So they've been losing quite a lot of experience in key players there, in key positions also. And I think, you know, they definitely be adding up from within. From in their own squad, you know, Ilves second team, you know, they won, you know, won so good, played an excellent season in Kakkonen. Ilves second team, they were, in the end, you know, they were second. Yeah. If I remember correctly, you know, just, you know, outside of Klubi, which is HJK.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they have an excellent youth project coming up, and I think they'll be, you know, using those young players this season and be giving them a chance, you know, in veikkausliiga to see what they can do, you know, and play there. So, you know, they have a long-term coach, you know, a long coach with Jarkko Viss. He's been coaching there now for many years. He's been given time. He's been given the patience, you know, and he's been getting results also. I think he's well respected within the Ilves organization. And, you know, Ilves will be there and about again. I think, you know, top 6 could be viable for Ilves. If they get the youngsters just, you know, start the season well, you know, get some confidence under the team, that kind of stuff. For sure,
that would be interesting to see them finishing the season in the top 6. That would be very, very good. That would be a good season for them, considering the number of key players that they've lost coming into this 2021 season. Yeah. But anyway, I wish the team a very best of luck for the season. I really like the team, basically. I really like the team. I don't really know why, but I really like Ilves team. And let's talk about FC Hakka.
Okay. I have to be careful now what I talk about. This one, my club we're talking about.
No, the truth is, I've definitely I never knew Hakka before now, because I haven't been following so much of the Ukkonen games before now. I follow mostly the veikkausliiga games, so that's how I knew Ilves, and probably maybe because they are the only team in Tampere, I never had the opportunity to share my emotions between two teams. Yeah. So, but yeah, FC Hakka, they got promoted 2 seasons ago. They had their own spell in last season, not so good start, but somehow from somewhere they got things going pretty right for themselves. Meanwhile, Maatsports have a player in FC Hakka, so I cannot say anything bad. It's also my team.
Yeah.
And the coach is quite an interesting guy. I've met him once in Kemi. So there is a relation there also for me as well. So, but yeah, first season in the veikkausliiga, the start looks quite shady. In the
Yeah,
middle of the season, they got everything right and they started getting the result that nobody was expecting that they could get. And that's why they kept their place in the, and of course, maybe the corona situation has played a good part for
yeah.
FC Aka also this season. So tell us something, Sebastian, because I know you have a lot.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, Hakka is my club, my team, and I have huge respect, towards Teemu Tainio and his coaching staff and the club in general for what they have been doing, because they had a very tough time financially when they got relegated from Veikkausliiga the first time around 8 years ago, I think it was. They were close to going, bankrupt, but, they managed to pull ranks through, fans, through excellent work by the board of directors and this kind of stuff, and really they have been on a shoelace budget for so long, paying debts, and still managing to stay in Ykkönen for so many years, on the top level of Ykkönen, and finally getting promoted back to Veikkausliiga and staying inside Veikkausliiga, which isn't an easy thing to do to a promoted team, which I think us all will find out.
Leave that for us to deal with. Leave that for us to deal with.
Yeah, like I said, good luck. Yeah, last season, like I said, the first 10 games, FC Hakka went without a win. It was tough. It was tough on the players. It was tough on the coaching management, but they pulled together. They stayed, true. They stayed positive. They believed in themselves. And to be fair, I think their head coach, Teemu Tainio, did the right call in, changing their playing style after 10 games. They changed to a more defensive 5-man backline in defensive phase. I think it was a 5-3-2 that they ended up playing in the end, or 5-4-1 even, in defensive phases. But they clearly changed their playing style to a more defensive counter-attacking style, playing for set pieces, defense first and then counter-attacking and playing for set pieces. Because, they realized the realistic things of, the situation that, if we tried to play our attacking football that we want to play, we just haven't got the team to do it.
Yeah.
So I think personally he made the right call, and, results wise, it was justified. They managed to started getting points. They started getting victories, started grinding out results. And in the end, it was enough to keep them in Veikkausliiga.
Yeah.
And for this season, again, they've managed to raise their player budget, I think, with about 80,000 euros from last season. So still, they'll be in the bottom half budget-wise. But they lost some players, Popovic, the main character, our own junior player coming through our own ranks, top star player in Hakka. He went to KuPS now, playing, in a good big team in European football.
Yeah.
So all the best to Popo out there in KuPS. We'll be following you with interest. And again, they're filling up, now with young, good players again, young, good players. We haven't got a lot of money to, use on players. So the money we use, we have to invest extremely wisely. Exactly. And so far, looking at the team that Deme has been building, he's been doing a good job. And, let's see. It's always difficult. It's always so hard, to stay in Veikkausliiga. But I think, we get a good start. Everybody is 1 year more experienced, 1 year wiser, and, 1 year better in every sense. So, they'll be definitely having the big backing of the fans, behind them. And I think, that will be enough, definitely. I don't know if it's enough for top 6 this season. I hope it is. But, I think everybody will be still satisfied if we just stayed in Veikkausliiga even this coming season now, realistically.
Well, let's hope for I really wish Hakka the very best of luck this season. It's quite a difficult thing for an agent to call the player after the player have lost again, after the team have lost again, just to encourage the player. And that was what we did quite a couple of times with one of our players in Hakka last season. It was quite it wasn't something really interesting, but it's something that we have to do just to keep the mentality going, just to keep the ambition going. And when the goals started coming in, when the wins started coming in, the calls was much easier to make. It was just a congratulation calls for the goals, for the wins, So I really wish that this would be the trend this year, that it's going to be a congratulation call and not the call to tell the player that, you know what, guy, don't worry, the team is going to get better. The team is going to get stronger. So I'm really wishing Haka a very best of luck this season, and I hope they finish at the top 6, so we don't have to think about playing the 5 extra games in the bottom table.
Yeah. Another part I forgot to mention about the Hakas, the key thing, one of the key things in their survival also was not just the change of the playing style after 10 games, but also the recruitment of Jacob Tonnander from HJK. They recruited a clear first-team goalkeeper to assist them, inside the box in goalkeeping situations. And I think, Tonnander played a crucial role also in that, in solidifying the back 4, along with De Lucas, another centre-back coming in during, the winter transfer window.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That would be those 2 good, acquisitions in key places that needed, strengthening also. We haven't got a lot of money to do, but Tonnander was a season-long loan from HJK, and, De Lucas was a free agent. So again, some smart business, that, in crucial positions that paid off extremely well.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Well, we keep the finger crossed, and we hope for the best for the new season.
For sure.
Honka. Another theme that I think that I always call these 3 teams, I always call them neighbors, HJK, Eve, and Honka.
Yeah.
For me, I don't see the difference between Vanta and Espoo, but they say they are 2 different cities. But anyway, Honka, what's your Honka for this season? They have been quite good.
Last season Honka finished in 4th place in Veikkausliiga, and that was very good, I think, because that's another team that have been troubled financially. They had a tough spell financially, and some were even worried that will they make it through the season during this COVID season last year. Their budget last year was 800,000. That's not too bad. To be fair, not too bad. But for looking the coming season, they've lost again quite a bit of experience from their team. They've lost Javi Hervas, Makumba Kanji, Rasmus Leislahti went to Ilves, Borjas Martin, some experienced players have been leaving. But one interesting player coming in Honka for this season is Ykkönen goal-scoring leader, Mr. Darren Smith from Eve.
From Eve,
yeah. Darren Smith came to Honka now for this season. It'll be interesting to see, if Darren Smith can, convert the style he dominated Ykkönen, with the scoring chart, can he bring those goals to Honka and Veikkausliiga? Because definitely they'll be getting the goals from Smith. Then, again, they'll be in the top 6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to
a younger team than last season for sure. Again, it'll be a youthful team.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to the striking position of Honka, because definitely Ykkönen is totally different, or Veikkausliiga is at a different level compared to Ykkönen. Yeah. So being a great performer in Ykkönen, I really hope that the standard will be of the same for him now that he's in Veikkausliiga, and we wish him also the very best of luck, and hopefully can help Honka retain their position, which they already have, but at least stay in the first 6. I'm hoping for the first 6 for almost everything. Which team will not be on the last or the bottom 6? Because, which team do you think, if you are going to look at it from your own estimation, top 6, bottom 6, what teams will you put in these 2 halves?
Top 6 will be, in my opinion, HJK, Inter, KuPS, Honka, Ilves, and I think SJK. I'll be thinking, Honka will get SJK playing this season with the budget they have. I think they'll be in top 6 this season.
Okay.
But I believe, in the bottom 6, then, FC Lahti,
Mariehamn,
Haka, AC Oulu, KTP, yeah.
Well, Mariehamn, this is a team that I cannot really say they will be in the top 6 or in the bottom 6.
Yeah.
Some season, they can just be there up, and some season, they just want to manage the bottom. So it's a team. Actually, both EFK and FC Lahti have this same kind of a flow with their game, with their football, which I really don't understand. Some seasons, they are good enough to be in the top, and some seasons, they are not just good enough. They are not just good enough to stay at the top and they remain at the bottom, but they never got relegated. at least they never played in the relegation zone at all. So that's why I'm not, it's very difficult for me to accept that EFK Mariahem, FC Lati will be in the bottom six. But the six that you counted, those are a very powerful six, which I think that, okay, it will be a very big tax for either FC Lati or EFK Mariahem to take the position from the first six from any of these top six that you counted.
Yeah. And keep in mind that Marienham last season, they ended only 2 points away from relegation playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, they were really going down under, and I think there was one player that kept them in the league, Albion Ademi.
Which left already. So
it'll be interesting to see, you know, Marienham, how they will be doing. They kept faith in their coach, which I always respect with the club, you know, keeping faith in their head coach for more than just one season. Because we've seen many times, you know, it can take 2 years, it can take 3 years, it can take even 4 years for a coach to get the team actually playing and winning championships. But after that, you know, it becomes more of a habit, like happened with, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool. He took 4 years until he won the championship, you know, 4 or 5 years again. You know, so long-term projects, you know.
Well, yeah, those are solid examples that you just gave, Sir Alex Ferguson, Jurgen Klopp. But I would also say in these in the regards of Sir Alex Ferguson and Jurgen Klopp, is every season you can see improvement. It might not turn out to be winning the championship, but at least for Jurgen Klopp, every season there is an improvement with the team. And I think if a Finnish football club is seeing the same thing, the same pattern from any coach, I think they should continue to give the coach the support that the coach needs, rather than looking for a new start from another coach that they believe that is far better.
Yeah.
But before we don't take much of our time, let's talk about these two teams that just got promoted into the veikkausliiga, the Koltepe and the AC Oulu.
Yeah.
Just give us something about these two teams. What are your expectations with these two teams?
Well, like I said, I'll leave AC Oulu to you because you're a local boy. But what I can say from AC Oulu is that, you know, they've been having a long-term project for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been knocking on the doors of Veikkausliiga for many years, on the top 5 in Ykkönen, you know. And this year now, you know, they have the green light for their own football stadium being built, a brand new football stadium, you know, which will again bring much more sponsors, you know, and more, you know, professionalism. They have new training fields, you know, new training fields, academies, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're in a good place. And also teams around Oulu area, I think there's 3 or 4 teams playing Kakkonen now from Oulu.
3 teams.
3 teams this season. So generally the Oulu area, you know, is, you know, filled with good teams at this point. So, you know, it's a good time to be from Oulu if you're a football person.
Exactly.
Good games to watch the following season.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, you know, always when you're a promoted team, the difference between Ykkönen and Veikkausliiga is big.
Big.
It's big. It's more bigger than, you know, the players most probably can't even imagine, because Oulu, again, you know, I don't think many of their players have got Veikkausliiga experience before.
No.
So, you know, for most players, it will be their first time playing at that level. And, you know, they will learn. They have to learn fast. Or if they won't learn, you know, they'll be paying the price for it. Like happened with, you know, Rops and Tepsi last season, you know. And if you get into the relegation battle, you know, early on in the season, you know, it's a tough loop to get out of. It will affect their consciousness, you know, and, you know, self-belief, confidence, you know, team morale, these kind of stuff, you know, it's a difficult thing to cope with. So let's see what happens. It's a tough place to be.
Yeah, well, you're totally right. You know, AC Oulu, it's first of all, the city of Oulu has been looking forward to have a Veikkausliiga game for many years now, and AC Oulu have been doing everything a little bit, just a little bit more, they will get it right. Just a little bit more every season, they will get it right. And finally, 2020, they got it right. And I think the right thing that what made everything right with AC Oulu 2020 was the acquisition of Rafinha, the defender from Oyuko. Should I call him a veteran from Oyuko? Anyway, he brings stability to the defense. Most of the games that AC Oulu won last season, 1-0, 2-1, not big goal margins, but they've kept a lot of clean sheets. They've kept an organized defense, and this is a leadership quality that Rafinha brought to the team last season. And that really paid off. And of course, with a lot of improvement on the backroom staff, a lot of well-managed resources, a lot of things done in the right way. And just like you said, a new indoor hall, which is going to be a source of revenue for them also, and a personal training place for them, so the teams can actually train adequately as much as they want to prepare for themselves for the new season, for the veikkausliiga season. And also, they've actually got a lot of acquisitions this current season, because obviously from the Ukkonen, most of their players in the Ukkonen last season, they are of Ukkonen standards. No disrespect to any player, but they know that if they have to stay in veikkausliiga, they have to get better acquisitions.
Step up their level. They have to
step up exactly. Level. And they have really done that this year. So the whole city is looking forward to them, and we are hoping that it's going to be a good season and we are going to stay there.
Yeah, like I said, it's good to be a citizen of Oulu at this stage.
Yeah, exactly.
KTP again, last season they did well. Their top player Mika scored the goals. Let's see if he can keep that up in veikkausliiga again. Like you said, it's also a different ball game now, so it's time to step up a level. But realistically thinking, I'm afraid KTP will be one of the teams that will get relegated back to Ykkönen this season. I think this season will be too much for them. Financially, I don't think they can get maybe the budget or the players, that they need to stay in this division. It's a tough league to be in, and most of the players, I can't see them just, I think they will be in the bottom two teams that will definitely relegated straight, or at least then in the relegation playoffs, in my opinion. But I hope they prove me wrong. These kind of underdog tales are the best thing always.
Well, meanwhile, Mika was one of the players that I was following in the team when they were in Ukkonen, and actually he left the team already, so he's not with KTP anymore.
Really?
He moved. He moved somewhere else. He moved to. I can't really remember what country is that now, but he's with another team.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. That's big boots to fill then with KTP. So who will they draft in?
Yeah, well, they've had a couple of new players also. They've brought in a couple of new players also. So they've tried to make their squad as strong as they can based on their financial resources. So let's wait and see. But just like you said, no disrespect to any team, but it's going to be a tough one for them. And maybe they are in the position of playing relegation playoffs or whatever, but at least they've done so well for themselves to be in this position, so they should enjoy the ride, play the good football, and let's see what 2021 holds for them.
That's true.
Wow, I think we have gone through the whole teams.
Just about. We talked not too much about FC Lahti.
Let's talk a little bit more about FC Lahti.
Yeah, and Helsingin IFK is another interesting team. There's been quite a lot of turmoil within the boardroom there. It was very, unsure whether they even participated in Veikkausliiga this year or not.
Yeah, true.
A lot of battles, who owns the club, who's got the license for the Veikkausliiga and this kind of stuff. Do they even get a license for Veikkausliiga? And in the end, now it seems, that things have calmed down a bit. The main owner has been, bought out or kicked out or left on mutual terms.
Yeah.
And now they have a new ownership model. And, their football director, Mr. Mika Lundström, is, building a team there. So it looks like, with their new head coach, Mr. Joaquin Gomez.
Yeah.
Who, was assistant coach in Nashiko last season.
Exactly.
He worked in, in the UK, with plenty of professional clubs. Also, like, for example, Brighton.
Yeah.
When, they just recruited in Antti Niemi as their goalkeeping coach and also assistant coach. So,
Yeah. Antti Niemi, let's talk about that. That's a big profile in Finland, going to IFK.
Yeah. Like I said, he's been coaching now with the national Suomen Palloliitto national team as, goalkeeping coach.
Yeah.
But also remember, Mr. Joaquin Gomez knows Antti Niemi personally together from their time in Brighton. That's when they worked together first in Brighton.
True.
They have a background there, mutual background. And as I've heard, Gomez first asked Antti Niemi just to come, and help him out for the first 2 weeks or so. First
Okay.
get things stabilized. It's his first job as head coach, so best of luck to him. It's always nice that new coaches get new opportunities as head coaches.
Yeah.
So best of luck for him. But it will definitely be again a new experience. He'll be under a lot of pressure. And building his own team, doing his own responsibility. But that's but we're in this business. We want to get into that role, we want to get into that position. We want to use and take that pressure and work with it, because that's every one of our dreams, to be a head coach in the top level sometimes. And
exactly.
Like I said, he has these contacts and he's using them now, and so far, they're building a pretty decent coaching backroom staff there, and a good project with the sporting director, Mr. Mikael Lundström, who seems to be supporting them extremely well.
Oh, that's that's a team that is going to be, that I will be looking into deeply also this season, because of the head coach. Actually, when I read about this appointment, I was like, wow, a team has because I felt like IFCO is also not as big as OIFCO, but they are at a very good level also in Finland, and bringing in
passionate supporters.
Yeah,
ice hockey, of course, it's known, but still, also in the football ground.
Yeah, exactly. So I really wish him all the best of luck. First season, I want to say Parvalmentaja, which is a head coach in Finnish. Yeah. First season, head coach, veikkausliiga team. Wow, that's a big task at hand, but hopefully he gets everything right, him and his backroom staff, and everything goes well for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, wishing them all the best of luck. All right. I think at that point, we might have talked about every of the teams here in the veikkausliiga for this season. So just for a recap, we have 12 teams in the veikkausliiga for the 2021. SJK, a team from Seinäjoki, which is called SJK. OIFCO, HJK in English, a team from Helsinki, which is as they call themselves, Vain Yksi Klubi. I translate that as the only club.
Yeah.
So, and we have also Coops, another team from Kuopio, and we have FC Lahti, which is in the city of Lahti. We have FC Hakka, which is in Valkoski, couple of kilometers, Valkeakoski, couple of kilometers away from Tampere. We have Ilves, which is from Tampere. We have AC Oulu, which is from ICD Oulu. We have Kotepe, which is from Kotka. And we have EFK Mariehamn, which is on the island of Mariehamn between Finland and Sweden. We have, what other teams do we have in the veikkausliiga? The 12. We have FC Onka, which is from Espoo. Espoo is, to me, Espoo is the same as Helsinki, but they said it's different. But anyway, it's in Espoo, and we have FC Inter, which is from Turku. So these are the 12 teams in the veikkausliiga this season. I really hope that you, all our listeners, will follow the Finnish Football League, understand our game over here also, and get familiar with our teams. And Sebastian, anything else that you want to add before we say a very goodbye to our audience this evening?
No, like I said, to all the listeners, thank you for listening. Joining next episode also, we'll be going in a bit more about Ykkönen, I think, next episode. And after that, some Kakkonen. So that's the second division in Finland and the third division in Finland, so to speak. Just all of you players out there also who are, interested maybe in playing into Finland, we can find you the right sort of, give you some guidance, some, instructions, and get some know-how, so a bit more about the leagues in Finland, and what could be the right level and the right steps to make first. Because most players that come into Finland first, if they're not go straight to Veikkausliiga, they come to Kakkonen or Ykkönen teams, and for a year or two, build their CV, get their name known, and then make the step up to Veikkausliiga, and from Veikkausliiga again, then into Europe, as many players have done, So Finland is a good stepping stone, in my opinion, for many players to come into Europe, first of all, to play, and then, get from Finland, into the bigger leagues in Central Europe. So, Mike, it's been a pleasure to be here. Great first episode, and looking forward to many more in the future.
Exactly. So you've heard it all, audience. And if you're a footballer, you've heard it from Sebastian. Finland is a very good stepping stone. So If you really want to be here, if you really want to know what it feels like, follow our podcast, follow our episodes, learn more about the Finnish football, and then you can get in contact with us from all our social media channels. And for whatever questions that will be coming, we'll be glad to answer them on the subsequent podcast episode that will be coming out. Thank you all for listening. So
please send those questions, by YouTube channel, in the chat box or wherever, just in the linked, profiles, connect, add us as connections, and send those questions if you have, or any stuff, we'll be answering when we can, if we can. For certainly, if there comes many questions, we can't answer them all, but we can pick, the best ones and, get into those in the future episodes also. So thank you for my side, guys. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you. And see you next time. Bye.